Questions?
Ben, what does this senior class mean to you, being in your first year here?
Well, I mean, I really know that our senior class has worked very hard, and I'm especially proud of how we've grown here in the last 6 weeks, 7 weeks of the season. I think anytime there's a change in culture, a change in coaching, there's a period of trying to figure it all out for the players. And I really feel like they bought into me and trusted me and given me themselves, especially here over the course of the last 6, 7 weeks. And that means a lot to me. And I really am sad that I don't have these kids back for another year. Because anytime you have a group and you have them for back-to-back years, they're going to be so much better in the next year. So that's a tough part for me about these seniors. I mean, I think about like Norman Powell, who I had at UCLA as a freshman and sophomore, and how he continued to improve and grew. And Chicken reminds me a lot of Norman Powell. Norman was drafted in the 2nd round as in their NBA, and I'm just sick that I don't have Chicken back for another year, or Gavin back for another year with the kind of growth they're making, especially here late in the year. So it's sad for me to see them go. I appreciate all they've given to this university and this program, and I want to help them in any way I can, both as basketball players and as well as people off the floor. And I'm really proud that all 5 of those seniors are going to, plus Reggie Patterson, who the first day I showed up, he was a manager, and after about a month I made him a walk-on. So it's really 6 seniors, and all of them are graduating. All of them are walking in May, and I feel really, really positive about that. And that's a tribute to them and to the support that this university shows its athletes with the academic support. And I've been at 4 different universities as a head coach, and there's nowhere that does a better job supporting their athletes academically than Mississippi State that I've been. I mean, it's really incredible the amount of resources that are committed and the commitment.
I know you only got the coaching for 1 year, but Gavin in particular, what's led him to have the type of year that he's had?
Conditioning. I mean, I think that, I've talked to him about this. His season's going to end here in the next couple of weeks, and bottom line is that there's no break for him because he's going to have a chance to make money. He's got it. Now, he won't be doing it for us anymore. He'll be doing it for himself. He needs to keep working to get his weight down. You saw him even the other night on Wednesday. He's done a good job here working at it, and that's going to be the key to his future. I mean, if he ever got down to where he was playing at 255, 253, 250, for a long-term stint, I think it would really make him special. Because the better shape you're in, the harder you can play, the more active you can be, and that's everything for him. And but he has a great skill level. I thought, like when I first saw him, that he was going to be a real good player for us because he's got a low post game, he's got a face-up game, he rebounds well. For him, it's all tied into his conditioning, and then him learned a few things I think he learned this year about controlling his emotions. I thought early on in the season, he didn't have control of his emotions. He reacted when things didn't go how he wanted, and he thought he got fouled. And we saw that early on against Southern. We saw it over in the tournament, and he has since, I think, corrected that. And you're going to get hit if you're a big guy. I mean, the big guys always get punished the most and get the brunt of everything. It's just how it is. And I think he's learned that this year and been more physical. And I think late in the year he's learned to become a better defensive player, which is really pleasing because he really struggled there early on in December.
Do you remember what your first conversation with this senior class was? This, obviously, the committee understands and went under Ray the first 3 years. Now you're here. What was that conversation like to kind of gain their trust and tell them what was going to happen moving forward?
Well, talk is cheap, so it really, but what I did express them right away is this is your last year, and I want it to be a really good year that you're going to look back upon and feel good about when you leave this place here, next spring. And I hope that they'll feel that way. And one thing I hope I've impressed upon is how much I care and how important it is to me. And these guys will always be the first team here under my leadership at Mississippi State, and that will always be special to me because that's really where a foundation was built in that first year in terms of how we're going to do things. And for the guys that return, I think they'll benefit from what we've gone through this year.
What would you like their legacy to be? If you could tell fans what their legacy, in your mind is, what do you think that is?
That they were the beginning of something special. That's what I want their legacy to be.
What have you seen from Auburn, just looking at them on film? It's kind of a quick.
I'm really impressed with Auburn. I mean, when I look at Auburn, they had a great chance to win at Alabama just a week ago. And, Alabama's a tough team, right on the borderline of being in the NCAA tournament. And it was a great game that could have gone either way. They had them down. They had A&M down 10 there in their last outing. A&M went to zone the last 4 minutes of the half, in the first half, and it really helped them get back in the game. And then A&M played great. And A&M's going to be, a chance to be co-champs or champions of our conference this year. They're very good. So they're playing well. And with Dunnan's back in the lineup now after missing the majority of conference play, it's really improved their team because it gives them a good ball handling point. He's a great driver. They have really hard matchups for us. Bowers is a 6'7", 6'8", 250-pound, big-time body who is a great driver. I mean, he started at the point when they didn't have a point for a period of 6 weeks. He has that kind of skill level. I really like Harris is a good player. He's one of their leading scorers. Brown is a very good freshman, as is Spencer. Both those kids are going to be forces in this league. And when you watched the Alabama game on tape, Brown and Hall were going at it, and there was some incredible athleticism being displayed by freshman bigs in this conference. Brown is a great shooter as a freshman. He'll be one of the best shooters, returning in the conference a year from now. And he can really get it going from deep. So he's a problem. Lang is a good player. He had 18 in one of their recent wins against Georgia at home. I think it was the third game going back. So, Georgia just won at South Carolina. They just beat Georgia, 10 days ago, 12 days ago. So it gives you an idea that, they beat Kentucky earlier in the year, and that was with the kid that ended up leaving who had a great game. Canty, I don't even know his first or last name because it doesn't matter because he's gone. But they're good. They're a problem. And, they're very physical. They've got great size. They're big. And they switch everything defensively. So they switch them 1 through 4, all screens. They're downing all ball screens, meaning they're pushing them sideline. They, do a good job, and when they get hot offensively, they can be very dangerous.
When you're taking over a program, how important is it for that senior base to buy in?
Yeah, I think it's obviously critical because those are also your leaders, and I think that when you look at to me, the guy that is the key guy, and I think he's really started to believe in what we're doing here, in the conference, and I'm so impressed with his competitiveness. Is Chicken. I mean, Chicken is a constant competitor. He is a great competitor. And he wants to win in the worst way. He's playing to win. He's playing with a torn labrum in his shoulder. He has sacrificed a lot for this program. I mean, he embodies what a bulldog is. He's all about winning. I mean, he's really taken pride in being a great defensive player and learning the game better and becoming a guy that I think will continue to grow. Like I said, I'm sick. If I had him for one more year, I mean, I think he could really be special, selfishly. And I'm sad to see him go. And I think that our other seniors, Travis has made a lot of growth this year. Travis is a guy that played 3 and 4. We've only had him at the 4 this year, and he's had to try to learn to be more physical and more assertive. I look at Fred, and I think Fred, had his best game of the year a week ago tomorrow against South Carolina, and so those 3 guys have been here the whole 4 years. Gavin and Fred and Chicken, and then Travis and Johnny have done a good job getting the most out of themselves.